Alright guys, welcome back. This is Nirathel, and in Chapter 1 we're going to be talking about, stat allocation and skill trees. These are two very important parts of Sage Healing, just like any other class. And we're going to be looking at, different abilities that you can take and, you know, what constitutes as the best Sage Healer. Well, me personally, I feel it's usually not the character, it's the player. So, you can take, what I have here in this skill tree, sure, you can take that. Are you going to be able to play it like me? Maybe. It's very subjective. Each player is different. They have a different play style. So, we're just going to look at, different abilities that we can take and, just keep an open mind because there's a lot of different ways to build characters, and there's a lot of different play styles that people like using. So obviously you're gonna take the items that really are pertinent for sage healing. And that's I'm highlighting over a few very important items right now, and you can see that you increase your willpower. Obviously, that's going to be increasing everything that is about your character. So you have more willpower, and you're able to heal a lot stronger. You got better heals and bigger heals, and by having more willpower, you have more points in crit and just everything. So obviously, you're a willpower based character, and by being so, you want to make sure that you get everything that has willpower. And I know that not everyone that's watching this channel is going to need to know that information because it's very basic, but it needs to be said. You know, uh, Depending on what type of character that you're going to be playing, they have their primary stat, and a sage healer, their primary stat is willpower. So moving forward, you can see a lot of these abilities really help you, and let's just go over a few of them right here. So anything that reduces the activation time of your abilities is is really going to help you in the middle of a battle, and every little bit helps. Even alacrity, it helps, and we'll talk a little bit about soft caps and hard caps, and where to stop putting points in, and what the most pertinent things are to put your points in when you're building a character and you're allocating your stats. So, but right now we're in skill trees, and as you can see, this just reduces activation times, and reduces the cost of force armor, and just stuff that you use all the time. Being able to have all of these abilities, and they work very well together, and I will go over that when we start talking about rotations and the comboing of effects, and just how well they work together. um, Now, one thing that I take as a sage healer that some other healers don't take is this psychic suffusion here. Now, what it does is it's a force wave, and it has a 100% chance to heal you and affected allies 1709. Okay, now, sure, that doesn't sound like much, but you're in a 16-man group, you face that force wave towards them, and you pop it, well, you just healed every person in that group for about 1700. And that's huge. That you just 16 times 1709. That adds up to a lot. Um, it's a very subjective ability though, because in the middle of a battle, you're not always going to want to be popping this because you don't want to knock people back. So you have to wait and kind of bide your time using that ability. Um, we're gonna move forward here, and being able to take life ward is huge as a healer. You can pop your bubble on yourself, and by bubble I do mean force armor. You pop your bubble on yourself. It heals you. You really don't have to worry about it. Very, very nice. And of course, the healing trance, resplendence, and healing trance. Anything that makes your stuff tick faster. Anything that reduces the activation cost. It's really huge for heals because you want to get those heals out fast. You want to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, basically, and that's you know keeping your party members alive. And of course, salvation. I mean, it's a given. One of the Sage healer's biggest, most used abilities is salvation. So let's take a look at what these abilities look like. So, obviously, you have salvation, and that's just your healing circle. I think everybody in the game has seen that. It's one of the best, healing abilities that the Sage possesses. And the biggest thing about salvation is placement. And I'll go over placement, in the upcoming chapters here. But placement is huge. Um, with every ability, and timing of every ability, it's huge, and it really makes a difference. So as I was talking about Force Wave, and right there you can see I crit. So even a crit is, 3,100 health, and yeah, sure, that doesn't seem like much, but you hit 5, 6, 7 people with that. You're healing them all, and it's free. Yeah, it's a free heal. You don't have to spend any force to do it. You can deal damage at the same time. It's not much, but it's a little damage at the same time. So if you're, popping that, you can really help out, and do a little bit of damage at the same time. And, if you're low on force, having free abilities is perfect. Same thing with like Force Men, that's free. So, being able to free heal your team is invaluable. And so let's move on. I talked a little bit about the tree, and I showed you what my tree is. Just keep an open mind because everybody has a little bit different way that they play their character, and a little bit different way that they use their abilities, and the way that their tree goes. So whereas this might work out for me, somebody else might have a different way of doing it, and that's fine. I've always been a firm believer that your gameplay makes up for your abilities and your lack of armor, your lack of stats, basically. So let's talk a little bit about um, allocation of stats. So we're going to go ahead and go over to force here. And I got the nano infused resolve sin reusable, and the big thing here is you always want to have your prototype nano infused, whether you have biochem or not. This is nice for just regular flash points and even story mode ops. But if you're doing nightmare modes and hard modes, you're going to want to have a good supply of nano-infused resolve stems. Even if you are biochem and you have the reusables, it actually increases your willpower and power by more. So if you just hover over it, you can really see. This increases it by 154 and 63, and this one increases it by 169 and 70. So yes, it does do more. So let's go ahead and we're going to go ahead and pop that, and we'll see what it does to my stat. Alright, so we're looking over here under force. We can see that the bonus damage, the bonus healing, the accuracy, the critical chance, the critical multiplier, force regen rate, and alacrity. Now, remember when I was talking about willpower, and if you see the top thing on almost all of these is willpower. So you have a few that aren't, but the major ones, they really are. And critical chance for a healer, don't even worry about it. You're going to get most of your crit at endgame from your willpower. As you can see, I'm sitting at 24.3, and there is a hard cap, well, not a hard cap, but a soft cap of about 25. So you don't really want to push it. You don't need to push it because your willpower is going to get you there. Um, that being said, you do want to have some surge rating. Probably get yourself above 70%, and then you can start worrying about your power. And I always put a little bit of alacrity on my gear in order to put me above the 8. And it really helps. It doesn't seem like much, and you're gonna see a lot in the upcoming chapters where it may not seem like much, and it may not, just me telling you about it, it may not look like, hey, he's not really doing a lot, and it's not really a big change, but every little bit that you do to make your character better and to make your heals more effective is going to push you over the edge, and it's going to add up in the end, and you're going to see those numbers go crazy. So just looking at my stats over here, you can see that I've put a lot into power. Almost every gear that I have, almost each piece of gear that I have is power alacrity, power surge, power surge, power alacrity, power alacrity. Like you get the common theme here. And obviously, you want every piece to be augmented with the willpower piece, because willpower is extremely important for a Sage Healer. The more willpower that you have, the better. Same thing with your Datacrons. Go get all of the Datacrons. If you don't get any other Datacron, at least go get the Endurance and Willpower ones, because they really help out. Um, so, that being said, you'll realize that once you start getting this gear, the pieces don't come like this. They come with crit, and I just told you not to use crit, and you're going, well Nearthel, this piece came with crit. Why am I not using it? And that's because for min maxing, and min maxing means you basically make the most out of your character, and you make the most out of everything that you're doing in game. For min maxing purposes, you're going to be taking one armoring or one mod out of this chess piece and then switching it over to yours, just so you can make sure that you have power instead of crit. You're going to be tossing those crits out. You're going to be basically getting rid of a lot of the stuff you're getting in. So yes, putting these mods in here, it takes a long time, because for each piece that you've finished, you've probably gone through 3 separate pieces just to get the exact mods and enhancements that you want. And yes, it takes a long time, but I promise you that is definitely the way to go there. And I cannot stress enough the importance of augments on every single piece. Sure, it costs a lot of money and a lot of credits, but it's huge. Each piece you're getting 20 endurance and 32 willpower. That's huge. It's very hard to not have that and still be a decent healer. So that's a big part of it. Well, guys, that's about all I got for stat allocation and skill trees right now. So when we come back, I'll talk a little bit about rotations, and I want to try to keep this as basic as I possibly can. And in doing so, I hope to make it a little bit easier to understand for newer players that are coming into the game and that are trying to figure out how to play their Sage Healer to a decent ability. And the further that we go into the chapters, and the more complex the ideas and strategies are going to get. So, even being able to watch a few of these, even in the beginning, you'll be able to learn quite a bit, and you'll be able to really understand what's going on with your character a little more. So, the next one we'll be talking about is comboing abilities and rotations. And just to give you a short preview, we're looking at how resplendence and how conveyance really helps out your character, and when to use them. That's the big one. Well, when I have 3 stacks of resplendence, what do I use it on? You know, and we'll talk about that in the next chapter of this series. So until then, like, subscribe, whatever you guys got to do, and I hope I helped you. Thanks.